Hey, besties. Let's throw some shade, honey. You ready to get into it? Hey, besties. Happy Sunday. As you see on the thumbnail, I'm going to recap Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So I'll tell you what happened. I told you I wasn't going to be able to do it because it comes on Thursday night. Orange County last season was really challenging for me to put it out on a Thursday night. Since I started it, I was working 4 days a week. Now I'm working 3 days a week, which is Wednesday through Friday on my good paying job, right? And so it's not as easy to recap Thursday nights because I need to rest and get ready for Friday. So if I can recap Beverly Hills and give it to you by the weekend, either a Saturday or a Sunday, it's all based on my outside activities, right? So this particular weekend, yesterday was Saturday. I had a funeral to go to in Oakland. And then that kind of made me really, really, really down. I was sad. It's just a lot. My very first friend lost her little sister. Me and this friend been friends since we were 4. Okay, so it's been a very long time. And then, just reconnecting with this family. They're like my family. We grew up together. We are families. I grew up on a block where everybody on the block knew each other. So it was just sad. So I needed a pick me up. So they wasn't having a repass till like 4 hours later. And I'm like, I'm not staying around doing that. No. So I called my bestie. I said, girl, let's go to brunch. So we went to brunch. And it was so good, y'all. So then I came home, took a fat nap. So I did Love and Marriage Huntsville last night. So this morning I took some time for myself and I'm rejuvenized. And I said, let me go ahead and watch Beverly Hills. Child, I was like, okay, well, wait a minute, this might be interesting. So besties, I'm digging it. I'm gonna recap it. It's gonna be a different kind of recap. First of all, it's gonna come out on either Saturday or Sunday. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not gonna be able to put it out Thursday. So that's that. We'll see how the numbers, the views go with it. If it's a good view, I'll keep it going. If I get low views, I'll leave it alone, possibly. But I enjoyed the season premiere of season 15. The girls are, getting through the divorce scene. Kyle is divorced. Dorit just filed for divorce. Here come the new Rachel Zoe. She's newly divorced. So actually pending, because I looked on Google, she's not divorced yet. She filed this July. So, it's like, okay. So the girls, Erica is divorced. Sutton is divorced. The only person, well, Bose is engaged. And then you got Kathy Hilton that's married, but she's not a castmate. She's a friend of. Love that. We got Reba. We got, Bose and her dude. So I'm kind of like, let's give it a shot. Then I'm looking at the cast picture and who is that woman on the far right hand side, right? Okay, so we got another newbie coming. So I'm like, let me get into it. Because, I'm always here for a good pivot of the show. At first, I was like, I don't want to see Kyle over here pretending like she ain't with that girl. And Mauricio this and pig hands. So we're going to get into it. We're going to give it a shot. So we'll see, y'all. We'll see. So let's get started. Let me get some water. And let's go. Welcome, besties. You are now behind the shade, and thanks for joining me. I recap your favorite reality shows weekly. Now let's kiki and ha and get into another episode of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. It is season 15, episode 1, Hot Girl Summer. Now, wait a minute. What cracked me up is Kyle is in, on the show. She talking to her girls, talking about, we gonna check that MFer. Then she told Dorit, don't get it twisted. Then when they start talking about we're gonna have a hot girl summer, now Kyle is like, I don't know what that is. Shut up, Kyle. Shut up, girl. Don't do that. You have 4 daughters. Okay. You have your youngest is 17. You know all the slang. You know all the words. You know all the songs. Don't play us. Play yourself. Don't do that. Okay. So let's get into it. So, but before that, besties, please drop down in the comments. Place your comments. Let me know what you thought, what you think, what you thinking, all that. Let me know. Please like the video. Make sure you subscribe to my channel and make sure your notification bell is on so that way you know each and every time I post my content, child. So we pretty much got Dorit and Bose. They have gotten a lot closer now, because her and Kyle ain't cool. So, we find out that Dorit filed for divorce. PK is outside, taking pictures with women on the corner in Beverly Hills on Rodeo Drive, child. Just like Mauricio taking pictures with women in the snow and at the valet and at the airport. Okay, but back to PK. He travels a lot. So when he tried to file 50% custody of the kids, Dorit knew that that was not a thing because he barely sees them kids. Remember PK's always in London. Don't let me find out PK has a whole nother family in London. Okay, Dorit, what you think, girl? So, child. Kyle and her daughters are at her house and they talk about Alexia's upcoming wedding. We know that she's engaged. I thought the wedding would have happened by now, but not yet. This is taking place at the beginning of the summer. So maybe the wedding happened. I think it did. So then they talk about Mauricio, honey, because he's outside being an HOE. Okay. So the baby Portia has gone to therapy. And so now she can unpack how she feels. She can express herself. She's good now, right? So the girls, they're pretty much healed and they're alpha females, and that's too bad for Mauricio because these girls will text their daddy and check him in a minute. Well, you're doing too much. Bring it down. Where's your privacy? That's too much. Tone it down. Oh, I didn't know. Yeah, uh-huh. So Kyle said, yeah, check his MF and blank. So we meet or re-meet some. We are introducing some. We are reintroducing. But hello, Rachel Zoe. She is the premier top stylist to the singers, the stars, the actresses, the actors. She got her first break with Tommy Hilfiger. She has a podcast. She has her own clothing line. She's the lady. She says she's got her hand in about 40 different things. She is the girl. So she goes over and makes a house call to Kathy, getting Kathy ready for a black tie wedding in Rome. They talk. Rachel filed for divorce from her husband. Child. So sad. They've been together forever, right? 33 years, I believe. She said actually they were together. Okay, I think 33 years. They were married 26 years, but after they had kids, things changed. I believe she just has 2 boys and they're young, preteen age. I think one is a teenager, one is a preteen. And she said they were together 18 years before they even started to have kids. And I said, yeah, that will change some things, probably because the kids are more of her priority now and not him. And he got in his little selfish feelings and, had to find elsewhere to go feel full and whole and just, whatever. Oh, I hate that because it just, then I think, what, just life be life and child. So let's get to the star of the show. Reba, honey. Reba is in LA at Sutton's house. Their relationship since Augusta has improved. They get along much better. They talk more. They FaceTime. And honey, Sutton couldn't be more grateful. And she needs that. She has some of the ladies over for a little lunch outside. So Erica and Kyle comes over, they're talking, and they kind of want to know, where is Avi? We don't see Avi. She has a different event planner planning her lunch. And she pretty much said, it wasn't really anything that really happened. There was no drama. I just had to let him go. Then later on in the show, she says something about you got to have good communication skills to be her personal assistant, and he wasn't doing that. And then you guys, I remember last season, he didn't do something. Something he had slipped and didn't do something, didn't tell her about something. And that probably was what she was alluding to. And maybe it happened more than just once. But we know that yeah, Sutton has always treated him like crap. And maybe Avi decided that he needed to get away from that. I'm sure Sutton is the type that will run someone's blood pressure through the roof, having him stressing over stupid stuff. And then if you add Reba to the mix, oh, I know he was like, yeah, I gotta go. Nobody is going to be able to handle Reba and Sutton. I'm almost sure Avi is somewhere enjoying life. His nervous system is relaxed and calm. His blood pressure is normal. He is chilling. I'm sure he is not tripping. But maybe because they were friends. And so she's like, I've lost a friend, And so they said, yeah, no, speaking of friends, where about Garcelle? Have you heard from her? Honey. Erica said, I followed her on Instagram and she unfollowed me. Child, Garcelle has unfollowed all of y'all. Bravo TV, Andy Cohen, The Real Housewives, and all y'all combined. And probably everybody who was at BravoCon, okay? She's not returning anyone's phone calls. Her statement is very loud and clear. But these people are going to act like they don't know what had happened, okay? So at lunch outside in her garden, she brings up that her ex-husband has filed an annulment of their marriage from the Roman Catholic Church. He took his last name back. So he refers to Sutton as Sutton Brown now. I was like, Reba, is your last name Brown? But no, she's probably married. Is she married again? Anyway, honey, I guess, what was his name? Christian? I guess he gave Sutton back her maiden name, honey. He said he told her that he figured doing this, he figured they would be better friends. Sutton disagrees. I said, like, no, sir, nope, So they bring up Dorit filing for divorce because it's been said, it's known, it's in the blogs that she filed for divorce. Kyle no longer talks to PK, and they kept it moving. Reba and Sutton agreed that they would never kiss PK. Reba said he is very unattractive to her. And someone has said that before. I think Reba has told us that before, how she just think he is just not cute. I think Kathy Hilton said that last season. But she was there. She over there fiddling, faddling with her hat. Child, Kathy is funny. Why did she pull out some scissors? She trying to cut her hat. She looking at herself in the knife. So maybe that little piece of straw from her hat was kind of in her peripheral vision or whatever. She was trying to figure out what it was and where it was. Why does this woman have a pair of shears in her purse? And Kyle was like, Kathy, you're gonna cut your hand. And she clumsy. Oh goodness. So next scene, Erica and Bose go to dinner. Child, their vibe is good. I hope they become close and they become the friends. Like the Emily and Gina. I hope they become the friends. I like the way they just was kikiing off of each other. So Erica was performing in London when she got the notifications that Tom was finally sentenced to prison. Bittersweet. They kind of left off without closure, and she was thinking about reaching out. Then she said, "No, it wouldn't be worth it." So then we find out Erica been outside. She been flirting and getting to know people and doing her thing. And so she said, "Don't ask me no questions. I will tell you no lies. I ain't got nothing to report. Do it moving." So then they talk about Sutton and how she's losing all her friends. And they pretty much everybody wants Sutton to be, honest. They want her to be consistent. Even Kyle said it later on. They want her to be consistent. So now Kyle is having a summer party with all the things out in front of her house. And everyone is going to be invited. See, at Sutton's house, Dorit and Bose was not invited. So Bose comes with her whole entourage, honey. When she show up, she bringing everybody. Her fiance, her auntie, and her daughter, okay? She's coming. Don't be playing with her. So we breeze through her and Keely. They've been together now a year and a half, and she's ready to move forward. He wants a drawer in her bedroom, probably with her dresser. She wants them to buy a house together. And that's good. She like, no, this is my home. We need to start over. And I like that for her. I like that for her because we know she lost her husband. And it's good. No, wait, were they to no? I'm thinking about what's the other girl that's married to the Simpsons? They weren't together when he passed, but she was there for him, right? I think Bose, it was the same thing, right? They were broken up, but he got cancer and she came back to be there for him. I think that's what happened. So anyway, they're at Kyle's. Everyone is sitting down. And so Bose asked Sutton what happened to Garcelle. And so she's like, I don't know. Nothing. She ain't said nothing. And she has not responded to anybody. She said, Sutton says, I have texted her time and time again, and she has not responded. So then I think Dorit asked, so you think you guys were just an alliance or was you guys a friendship? And they rolled some clips back. And so Sutton was like, no, girl, don't do that. I'm not no ally for her. She was my friend. We were friends, okay? Well, Bo says, well, I know she don't think I had her back, and I'm kind of like, what did you need me to have your back for? And then she said to Sutton, I think, you left her out to dry. Sutton was like, well, we don't know because she ain't said nothing. Sutton is a kiki for me. So then Kathy and Rachel arrive. They're late. And so Kyle says she knows Rachel through mutual friends, but she don't know her that well. The other girls meet Rachel, but Bose knows Rachel through her mutual friends too. And Rachel invited Bose to come onto her podcast last year, and they had a good time. Rachel told Bose, you were my favorite. And she felt like she could talk to Bose forever and ever and ever. Rachel shares that she left her husband a year ago, and so they're all talking about that. And so she says she don't think you should stay together with anybody when you're unhappy. The kids feel it. So then they looking at Dorit like, did you tell them kids yet that y'all getting divorced? Or you still trying to pretend like he in London at work? Because Dorit don't feel like she need to tell them yet. She's protecting her children. Well, her son, Jagger, is that his name? He's 11. He knows what's going on because he's not stupid. And that's why I keep telling these darn housewives, these kids know. Tell them. It'll be easier for everybody if you just tell them the truth. He brushes her off like, yeah, mom, I know. Okay. Work with him, talk to him, Dorit. If he needs a little therapy, get it. So then they asked Dorit, how does she feel about PK running around with girls? And so one person, I think it was Kathy, like, how do you feel like he's running around? And then Rachel said, with the girls. And they like, okay, she's very direct. They're getting a taste of Rachel. So Dorit says, oh, he only doing it because Mauricio is doing it. And I'm just like, it is exactly. So Rachel tells Kyle that someone tried to hook her up with Mauricio in Aspen. And she was like, that is Kyle's her ex-husband. No, she said no. And so then Rachel tells Dorit that PK, he's a narcissist and you guys are going to end up in divorce eventually, either today, tomorrow, or in 5 years. And then Dorit was like, oh, and so Rachel's like, I'm sorry. And Rachel, I looked her up. She's a Virgo, September 1st. So, honey, she gonna be having stuff to say. And she's not gonna be accountable. She gonna be deflected and trying to tell you that what you think is not what she thinks. and what she says are not what it is. This is going to be interesting. Kyle, but I could see Rachel is coming through with Kathy. That's her girl. But I could see Rachel, I don't know, cool with Kyle. Bose, is Bose going to come through and snatch up all the girls and be friendly with everybody? We'll see. It's going to be pretty interesting. So, Kyle is, they asked Kyle, is she dating? She's like, no, I'm single. Like, but you know you can date because Mauricio is dating, so you can date. She said, yeah, I know, but I'm not leaving the house. And so Rachel's like, it's easy to stay in your pajamas and your robe and stay in the house, but you need to come outside. I'm outside. Dorita's like, I'm down to go outside. And Erica's like, I'm gonna go outside, but I need to be outside with a man. We know, Erica, we know. So of course, Sutton gonna come for the ride, and we gonna see how this works out. And then the show ends. And you guys, I'm just like, okay, the girl's gonna be out having fun. Can we move away from PK and Mauricio? And we all know if Kyle is at home in the house, we know, where is Morgan, Kyle? That's all I want to know. Are you in the house with Morgan? Is she in a bathrobe too? Are y'all wearing his and hers and hers? What y'all doing? Why are you in the house? Why are you in the house, Kyle? Where is Morgan? But besties, that was it for Beverly Hills. Please drop down in the comments, share the video, comment, like, subscribe, notification bell, and I'll be back later on tonight with Real Housewives of Potomac. Bye, besties.